Hi everyone, welcome to Money Expat Financial Essentials video series where I cover the finance basics, where to start as an expat. And many people ask me where to start. Am I saving enough? Am I doing the right thing? Or is there something else I should be doing, etc.? So today we'll cover a framework where to start your financial journey and make sure that all the important things are covered. So think about building your financial house. So there will be specific layers that you need to make sure to have in place before you do anything else, right? So first one is, of course, is the foundation. Foundation is something that we are building on. And you want to make sure that you have a solid foundation. Otherwise, whatever you're building on top won't feel secure and it will be shaky. And within the foundation, we have three parts. So first one is the emergency fund. You want to make sure that you have 3 to 6 months of expenses available, accessible, in case if something unexpected happens, right? It can be a medical emergency that for some reason is not covered by the health insurance, maybe a family emergency and you need to fly in the middle of the night somewhere, or you got laid off and you need to have savings enough to provide for you until you find a new job. So for those who are single, don't have kids or other dependents, so 3 to 6 months is generally enough for emergencies. Now, if we have dependents, then up to 1 year, because if you have a bigger family, then for sure you need to make sure that you have savings in case anything happens, and that will be enough for everyone. And then number 2 in the foundation is the health insurance. So most of expats will have it, but some won't. And so I will say that health insurance is a must, right? It's a non-negotiable. We all need it. And I know some people might say that going to a Chinese hospital, appointments are cheap, so I don't need the health insurance. But the thing is, if we are talking about something serious, serious accident or serious illness, where you need to spend a few days or more at a hospital, the bill will be higher, right? So, and if you have a health insurance, that should cover, if not all of it, then most of it. So, and it is one of those things that's better have and not use than otherwise. And number 3 in the foundation is the life insurance. Now, it's not for everyone, right? Because it does depend on the individual situation. But do consider life insurance if you have dependents. So maybe a spouse that doesn't work, or children, or parents back home. Essentially, people that will struggle financially without you around. And so the purpose of the life insurance is providing that financial protection if something should happen to you. Now, once we have that foundation in place, we can move on to the walls, and that is retirement. So there is no time frame too soon to start saving for retirement, because essentially it will be a very expensive thing that you will need to pay for, especially as an expat. So if you were back home, you would probably have an employer who's setting up the contributions towards your pension plan automatically, right? Without you even having to do or think about it. But here in China, it's a little bit different. And just based on what I'm seeing and hearing, yes, so there are certain expats that do have social insurance here in China and some that don't. And even if we are making contributions into the social insurance, there is a specific amount of years that you need to pay into it before you are eligible for a pension in China. And another thing is that we don't know how much the pension will be in the future. So don't leave it to chance and start saving for retirement separately for yourself, just to make sure that you have enough savings. And if you do have a pension back home and a pension in China, hypothetically, and you have your own savings and you have more money, then happy days, right? You just have more money and that's good. But yes, so make sure that once you have your foundation, you prioritize saving for retirement. And like I said before, there is no such thing as saving too early for retirement. Once we have retirement savings in place, we can move on to the next thing. Now, to save for retirement, there are certain tools that are available for expats, and these are the savings plan, there's regular contribution plans, and the specific structure will depend on the individual situation. So it really depends where you are and what you want to do. But yeah, there are options. And once we have retirement, next thing will be the roof. And that is the big goals, right? So if you're saving for a property, you want to buy a house in the future, or if you're a parent, and you want to save for your children's education, this is it. One thing that's common for these goals is that you know when you need it, you roughly know how much you need it. And so that will help you understand, okay, so how much you need to start saving now to make sure that you do reach the goal in the future. And ideally, you have more time because let's not forget about the compounding, right? So the more time you have, the better. Now, if you're saving for education for your children, then remember also no such thing as starting too early, because international education is also quite a big financial commitment. And also inflation on education is pretty high. It's roughly 5% year on year. And if you're saving for property, they also tend to go up in price every year. And so this is something that you need to kind of put attention to. And for expats, there are also tools to save in the meantime, right? So while you're in China, you can start saving for a certain goal. Yes, it can be education for kids, it can be property, it can be maybe you're saving to start a business in the future, or another major change in life. So it's very individual, and it all depends on what you want to achieve and when. So now once we have these, the foundation of the house, the walls and the roof, then we can continue to exciting things. And that will be our beautiful garden where we can have our stocks and crypto and other adventurous assets. Now, if you notice, it's on the side, right? Because in your garden, things can happen. Markets crash, crypto winters happen, and trends and hypes, they start and they finish. So whatever you have in your garden is a side, right? So you have the structure for your home that stays intact no matter what happens in the market. And it's just something that's long term, it's just a side. And you're not risking your whole house by investing in something adventurous. So we need to remember that when we're starting investing, we need to be intentional. Okay, so if I'm saving for retirement, I'm not saving in crypto for retirement, and I'm not investing in stocks for retirement, right? So you need to be mindful what you have and what is the purpose of that investment. And I often see or hear people say, "Oh, I invested in this or a stock, for example, but then my car broke and I had to sell it, and I actually lost money, and etc." Right? So it's not that the investment was bad. It's just that the money that shouldn't have been invested was invested, and it was locked away, and then in the process of trying to get it back, people look at some losses in the middle, right? So this is something that we need to keep in mind that, okay, so we have our foundation, right? So emergency fund for unexpected expenses that might arise, and they will arise because life happens. Then we have our walls, and that is also a must that we need to make sure that we're saving for retirement. Then big goals will be different for different people, but the tendency is that, aside from retirement, people do want things. And then there will be the garden. So there you go. This is the structure where to start. And if you're someone who doesn't have the emergency fund yet, so focus on that. If you have savings already and you have the foundation, right? So you already have enough for emergencies. Next on is the retirement. So look into options or reach out to me for a consultation, and we can review, okay, so where you can start saving for retirement. And then once you have your retirement in place, then we will be looking at other goals. Or maybe you already have everything, but you're not sure, okay, so what should be in my garden? That's also something to discuss, because there are a lot of opportunities out there that you could be taking advantage of and adding into your portfolio. So yeah, my question for you now is that, okay, so now that you see the structure, where are you, right? Which layer are you working on right now? And so what is next in your agenda, let's just say. And if you're not sure, you can always reach out to me for a consultation, which are complimentary and obligation free. So just to understand where you stand and what you should be doing next. And this is Money Expat. As I mentioned before, we will be covering finance essentials for expats in the next several videos. So if you find this useful, make sure to follow, and I will see you in the next videos. Bye bye.